Have you ever been told you might have a serious health problem, only to find out later it was just a mistake in your blood test? It happens far more often than most people think, and for women over 65, these errors can lead to weeks of unnecessary worry, extra tests, and even the wrong medication. I've seen it time and time again. Smart, careful women getting the wrong results simply because of small, avoidable steps before their test. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 10 most common mistakes senior women make before a blood draw, and more importantly, how to avoid them. By the end, you'll know exactly what to do so your results truly reflect your health. Not a one-time slip-up. Before we get started, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching this from, and what time of day is it? Share it in the comments below. Even a small detail from your day means a lot to me. And if you find this content helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss my next tips for living healthier and more confidently after 65. Mistake 1. Fasting the wrong way. Fasting before certain blood tests is not just a formality, it is the key to getting results your doctor can trust. Tests like fasting glucose, lipid panels, and triglycerides rely on your body being in a steady, neutral state. In the simplest terms, your blood needs to show how your body functions without the influence of a recent meal. If you eat before these tests, even something small like a piece of toast or a splash of milk in your coffee, your numbers can change dramatically. Your glucose might spike, your triglycerides might climb, and suddenly your results suggest diabetes or high cholesterol. For many women over 65, that can mean a frightening phone call, more tests, and the stress of thinking something is wrong when it isn't. But fasting too long can be just as risky, and it is a mistake I see far too often. You might think that going 14 or 16 hours without food will make your results even cleaner, but in reality, it can throw your body into unnecessary stress. Prolonged fasting can lower your blood pressure, leave you feeling dizzy, and disrupt your electrolyte balance. For older adults, especially those managing multiple medications, that kind of stress on your body can be dangerous. I once had a patient who fainted during her blood draw after fasting nearly 18 hours. She thought she was being careful, but instead she left with a bruise on her arm, a headache, and a test result that didn't reflect her real health. This is where preparation, not extremes, makes all the difference. The sweet spot for most fasting blood tests is 8 to 12 hours. That means if your appointment is at 8 a.m., you might finish dinner around 7 p.m. the night before, and then stick to water only until your test. Not coffee, not tea, and certainly not juice, just plain water. Even black coffee can alter certain results, especially if sugar or milk slips in, and herbal tea can contain compounds that nudge your metabolism. I know it is not always easy, especially if you live alone and have a morning routine that includes breakfast or a warm drink. But remember, fasting correctly is not about punishing your body. It is about giving your doctor the clearest picture possible. Think of it like taking a photo with the lens perfectly clean. You want no smudges, no shadows, just the truth of what is there. If you stick to the 8 to 12 hour guideline, you will walk into that lab knowing you have done your part. You will feel steadier, your veins will be easier to find, and your results will reflect your real health, not the leftovers from your last meal. And that is the kind of control and confidence we can all use as we age. Mistake 2. Taking medications and supplements that distort results. One of the most overlooked mistakes before a blood test is taking medications or supplements that quietly alter your results. Many older adults have a daily routine that includes a mix of prescriptions, over-the-counter pills, and vitamins. It feels harmless, even healthy. But the truth is, some of these can cause your lab values to shift in ways that lead your doctor down the wrong path. For example, biotin, a popular ingredient in hair, skin, and nail supplements, can interfere with thyroid hormone tests, sometimes making it seem like you have hypothyroidism or that your medication dose is off when it's actually fine. Anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen can affect kidney function markers, giving the impression that your kidneys are struggling when they're not. Steroids, even when taken for joint pain or inflammation, can raise blood sugar and white blood cell counts. Diuretics, often called water pills, may throw off potassium, sodium, and other electrolytes, which are critical for heart and muscle health. Even something as common as a vitamin D supplement can temporarily raise calcium levels, leading to unnecessary concern about bone or parathyroid problems. Part of the reason this happens so often is that many people don't think of vitamins or herbal remedies as medications. They feel natural, so they seem harmless. But your body doesn't see a difference between a pill from the pharmacy and a capsule from a health food store. Everything you ingest changes your body chemistry in some way. I once had a patient in her 70s who came in worried sick because her calcium was high. She had already booked an appointment with an endocrinologist. A few questions later, we realized she had taken her high-dose vitamin D just an hour before her test. When she repeated the test without the supplement, everything was perfectly normal. The safest approach is to be completely transparent with your healthcare team. Write down every single thing you take: prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, vitamins, herbal teas, powders, oils, and even essential oils you consume. Bring that list to your appointment. Before your test, ask your doctor or the lab if any of them should be paused for 24 to 72 hours. This simple step can save you from unnecessary worry, extra appointments, and sometimes hundreds of dollars in follow-up testing. It's easy to feel like our health is slipping beyond our control as we age, especially when the numbers on a lab report suddenly look alarming. But remember, much of your health story is still in your hands. By knowing which medications and supplements can alter your results, and by giving your doctor the full picture, you are actively protecting yourself from misdiagnosis and needless stress. That's not just good medicine. That's good peace of mind. Mistake 3. Not drinking enough water. Walking into a lab for a blood test without having enough water in your system can turn a simple appointment into a frustrating ordeal. When you are even mildly dehydrated, your veins can be harder to see and more difficult to reach. The phlebotomist may have to try more than once, switching arms, warming your skin, or even moving to your hands. It's uncomfortable, it's time-consuming, and it can leave you feeling bruised and tired before your day has even begun. Dehydration also changes what shows up on your test results. When you don't have enough fluid in your body, your blood becomes more concentrated. That can make certain numbers appear higher than they truly are. Your hemoglobin, your electrolytes, even your kidney function markers like creatinine. For someone over 65, this can lead to unnecessary concern, extra testing, and the emotional stress of thinking something serious might be wrong. Older adults are especially prone to this problem because our body's thirst signals tend to fade with age. You might not feel thirsty, but that doesn't mean your body doesn't need water. I've met many patients who believed that they were drinking enough, only to realize that a cup of coffee or tea in the morning and a glass of water at dinner was far from sufficient. The fix is simple, and it doesn't require drastic changes. Unless your doctor has specifically told you to limit fluids, which is rare, aim to drink 1 to 2 glasses of plain water about an hour before your test. This gives your body enough time to absorb the fluid, plump up your veins, and make the draw quicker and more comfortable. Avoid overdoing it, though. Too much water can leave you rushing to the restroom right when you're called in. I remember one woman in her 70s who dreaded blood draws because they always took several attempts. After learning about the importance of hydration, she made a small change: a glass of water before bed and another when she woke up. At her next appointment, the nurse found her vein on the very first try, and her results came back without any unusual spikes. She told me it was the first time she had left a lab without a sore arm or a worried mind. It's a simple habit, but it can make a world of difference. A little water today can save you pain, stress, and uncertainty tomorrow. And that's a change worth making. Mistake 4. Doing strenuous exercise the day before your test. Most of us know that regular exercise is one of the best things we can do for our health, especially as we get older. But what many people don't realize is that doing an intense workout right before a blood test can actually throw off your results. When you push your muscles hard, whether it's lifting weights, tackling a long uphill hike, or even a vigorous gardening session, you create tiny tears in your muscle fibers. This is a normal part of building strength, but it also releases certain enzymes into your bloodstream. These enzymes include creatine kinase, or CK, and liver markers like AST and ALT, as well as LDH. If your doctor is checking your liver function, heart health, or looking for signs of muscle disease, these temporary spikes can raise red flags. Suddenly, you may be told your liver looks inflamed or your muscles are breaking down, when in reality, your body is just recovering from yesterday's workout. For someone over 65, that kind of phone call can be alarming, leading to repeat tests, extra appointments, and days of needless anxiety. I remember one gentleman in his late 60s who was referred to a cardiologist after his CK levels came back unusually high. He was worried, his wife was worried, and he even canceled a family trip to wait for further testing. When we looked closer, we discovered that he had done a heavy leg workout the afternoon before his blood draw, something he rarely did. On a retest, without the strenuous exercise beforehand, his results were completely normal. That entire week of stress could have been avoided. The solution is simple, and it doesn't mean giving up activity. In the 24 to 48 hours before your blood test, focus on light, gentle movement. Go for a walk around the neighborhood, stretch, or enjoy a yoga session. These activities keep your body active without causing the kind of muscle breakdown that can confuse your lab results. If you're used to a regular exercise routine, think of this as a short rest window for your body, a chance to let your system settle so your results reflect your true health. Protecting your peace of mind is just as important as protecting your physical health. By dialing back your workouts for a day or two before your blood draw, you can avoid unnecessary scares, save yourself from extra medical bills, and walk into your appointment knowing your numbers will tell the real story. Mistake 5. Arriving anxious and rushed. Your emotional state before a blood test can quietly influence your results in ways you might not expect. When you walk into the clinic feeling rushed, stressed, or out of breath, your body switches into a mild fight or flight mode. This triggers a release of stress hormones like cortisol, which can temporarily raise your blood sugar, slightly increase your blood pressure, and even shift your white blood cell count. For older adults, these small changes can make a lab report look more concerning than it really is. I once had a patient, a warm and active woman in her late 60s, who arrived late to her appointment after being stuck in traffic. She hurried from the parking lot, climbed the clinic stairs, and sat down for her blood draw, still breathing hard. When her results came back, her cortisol and blood sugar were both above normal, and her blood pressure was higher than usual. Her doctor ordered a follow-up, worried about possible metabolic or hormonal issues. A week later, she repeated the test, this time arriving early, sitting quietly, and taking deep breaths, and every number was back in the normal range. The difference was not her health, but her state of mind. The good news is, this is one of the easiest mistakes to fix. Plan to arrive at least 10 to 15 minutes early, giving yourself time to slow down and settle in. Once you're seated, place your feet flat on the floor, rest your hands in your lap, and take slow, deep breaths. Inhale through your nose, pause, and then exhale gently through your mouth. This simple breathing can help bring your heart rate and blood pressure back to baseline. It also helps to be mindful of what you focus on while you wait. Scrolling through alarming health news on your phone can spike anxiety without you realizing it. Instead, think about something calming, a favorite place, a pleasant memory, or even a grandchild's smile. Your goal is to let your body rest so that when the blood is drawn, it reflects your normal, everyday state. This small act of preparation can prevent false alarms, save you from extra appointments, and give you the peace of knowing that your results truly represent your health. Mistake 6. Not asking about special preparation for specific tests. Not all blood tests are the same, and assuming they are, can quietly set you up for confusing results. Some tests need to be taken at a very specific time of day, while others require you to avoid certain medications or supplements beforehand. If you don't know the rules for your particular test, you might end up with numbers that look abnormal, when in fact they're only reflecting the way you prepared, or didn't prepare. For example, cortisol, the hormone that helps regulate your stress response, naturally peaks in the morning. That's why it's almost always measured between 7 and 9 a.m. If you take it outside of that window, the results might look low, leading your doctor to suspect adrenal problems you don't have. Iron studies are another case. Ideally, they should be done in the morning before you've taken any iron supplements, because even a single dose can cause your levels to spike temporarily. The same goes for calcium tests. They shouldn't be done right after taking vitamin D or calcium pills, since your levels may appear higher than they truly are. I once worked with a patient who had her parathyroid hormone checked right after her morning vitamin D. The results suggested a possible hormone disorder, and she spent weeks worried while waiting for specialist appointments. When the test was repeated without the supplement, everything was perfectly normal. That's a lot of unnecessary stress for something that could have been prevented with a simple phone call. The solution is straightforward and takes less than 5 minutes. Before your appointment, call your doctor's office or the lab and ask if there are any special instructions for your tests. This is especially important if you have multiple tests scheduled on the same day, as some may require fasting, some may need morning collection, and others might be unaffected. Keeping a small notebook or calendar with your test instructions can also help you stay organized and avoid last-minute confusion. Knowing exactly how to prepare ensures that your results reflect your true health, not the timing of your breakfast or the pill you took an hour ago. It's a simple habit that can save you from unnecessary worry, extra costs, and the emotional toll of waiting for follow-up testing. A little preparation today can mean a lot more clarity tomorrow, and that's something well worth the effort. Mistake 7. Drinking alcohol the night before your test. A glass of wine with dinner or a small nightcap before bed might seem harmless, but even moderate alcohol can affect your blood test results the very next morning. Alcohol has a direct impact on several important markers. It can raise your triglyceride levels, temporarily elevate liver enzymes, lower your blood sugar, and dehydrate your body. For someone over 65, these changes can be enough to make a doctor think there's a liver issue, poorly controlled cholesterol, or even problems with blood sugar regulation. The tricky part is that the effects aren't always predictable. One person might see a spike in triglycerides, while another notices a dip in glucose levels. Alcohol also changes how your body processes certain medications, which can further distort lab results. Even mild dehydration from alcohol can make it harder to draw blood and can concentrate certain lab values, giving a false picture of your overall health. I remember a patient in her 70s who enjoyed a couple of glasses of red wine with friends the evening before her cholesterol check. The next day, her triglycerides were so high that her doctor considered adding a new medication. She was shocked because she had always kept her cholesterol under control. After repeating the test a week later, without the wine the night before, her results were back in the healthy range. That one evening had created a week of unnecessary worry. The good news is that this is an easy mistake to avoid. If you have a blood test scheduled, avoid alcohol for at least 24 hours before, and ideally 48 hours to be safe. That short break gives your body time to return to its natural baseline, ensuring your results reflect your true health, not the effects of last night's drink. By making this small change, you protect yourself from false alarms, extra appointments, and the emotional toll that comes with thinking something might be wrong. Sometimes the simplest adjustments, like skipping that evening glass of wine, can be the most powerful in keeping both your numbers and your peace of mind in check. Mistake 8. Wearing clothing that makes blood draws difficult. It might seem like a small detail, but what you wear to your blood test can make the experience much smoother, or much more stressful. Tight sleeves, layered sweaters, or long-sleeved tops with narrow cuffs can make it harder for the phlebotomist to reach your vein. In some cases, you might find yourself struggling to roll up your sleeve or even needing to remove layers of clothing in a small, uncomfortable space. That extra hassle can increase anxiety, especially if you're already nervous about the test itself. For older adults, mobility issues, arthritis, or shoulder stiffness can make changing positions or adjusting clothing even more difficult. I once saw a patient in her late 70s wearing a snug turtleneck under a fitted cardigan. She had to wrestle with the sleeves just to expose her arm, and by the time we were ready to draw blood, she was flustered and tense. A process that could have taken a minute stretched into several, making it harder to find a vein and increasing her discomfort. The solution is simple and can save you time, energy, and unnecessary stress. Choose a loose-fitting, short-sleeved shirt or a cardigan that opens in the front. This allows the phlebotomist easy access to the inside of your elbow, where the best veins usually are, without you having to strain or feel exposed. If you're visiting the lab during cooler months, layer with something easy to remove so you stay warm while waiting, but can quickly prepare when it's time for the test. A little preparation in your wardrobe choice can make the entire experience calmer and quicker. When you walk in knowing you're dressed for comfort and convenience, you give yourself one less thing to worry about. And in moments like these, reducing even small sources of stress can help keep both your mind and body at ease. Mistake 9. Not mentioning menopause or hormone therapy. Your hormonal status plays a much bigger role in blood test results than many people realize, especially for women over 65. If you're postmenopausal or using hormone replacement therapy, whether pills, patches, or creams, these changes can directly affect key lab markers. Estrogen therapy, for example, can raise your HDL, the so-called good cholesterol, and lower LDL, the bad cholesterol. Without that context, your doctor might think your heart health has improved because of diet or medication, when in reality, it's the hormones influencing the numbers. Hormones can also change readings for FSH and LH, the hormones often used to determine menopausal status. Even your thyroid function tests can shift slightly because estrogen alters the proteins that carry thyroid hormones in your blood. If your doctor doesn't know you're using HRT, they may interpret these results incorrectly, leading to unnecessary concern, extra testing, or changes in medication you don't actually need. I remember a patient in her early 70s who was referred to an endocrinologist after her estrogen levels came back unexpectedly high. She spent weeks anxious about possible tumors or other health problems. Eventually, we discovered she had been wearing an estrogen patch the entire time, something she didn't think was relevant to mention. Once the doctor knew, the concern disappeared, but the emotional toll of that worry lingered. The solution is clear. Always tell your healthcare provider if you have gone through menopause, if you are currently using HRT, or if you recently stopped. Be specific about the form, pills, patches, creams, or gels, and how often you use them. Even if it seems unrelated to the test you're having, it's critical information for interpreting your results correctly. Your blood work is only one part of your health story, and without the full background, even the best doctor can be misled. By sharing this detail, you protect yourself from unnecessary worry and ensure your care is based on the truth of your health, not just the numbers on the page. Mistake 10. Leaving right after the blood draw without double-checking. It's tempting to head straight for the door the moment your blood has been drawn, especially if you've been fasting and are ready for breakfast. But leaving too quickly can lead to problems that cost you both time and peace of mind. Sometimes a test tube is missed, a label is placed on the wrong vial, or the exact volume of blood needed isn't collected. These mistakes are rare, but they happen. And they can mean you'll have to come back for another draw. There's also the physical risk. When you stand up too fast on an empty stomach, your blood pressure can drop suddenly, making you lightheaded or even causing you to faint. For older adults, a fall in a clinic hallway or parking lot can be far more dangerous than the blood test itself. I once knew a patient in her late 60s who felt fine walking out of the lab, only to become dizzy halfway to her car. She stumbled, fell against the curb, and ended up spending the afternoon in urgent care, all because she didn't take a few extra minutes to recover after the test. The safest and smartest thing you can do is to slow down. After your blood draw, sit for a few minutes, sip some water, and let your body adjust. Ask the technician to confirm that all the required tests were collected, that the labels are correct, and that you know exactly how and when you'll receive your results. If anything was unclear in the instructions your doctor gave you, this is the time to ask. Those extra 5 minutes can prevent an unnecessary repeat appointment, avoid a dangerous fall, and give you confidence that your results will be accurate the first time. When it comes to your health, moving slowly and double-checking is never wasted time. It's an investment in your safety and your peace of mind. We've covered 10 simple but powerful ways to make sure your blood test results truly reflect your real health. Each tip is about taking small, thoughtful steps so you can avoid unnecessary worry and get the most accurate information possible. Remember, if you have any specific symptoms, ongoing health concerns, or medical conditions, always talk with your doctor before making changes. I'd love to hear from you. What's the one thing you're taking away from today's video? Or, if you'd like to keep it simple, just type the word HOPE in the comments below so we know you're part of this caring community. If you found this helpful, please hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and share this video with a friend or family member who might benefit from these tips. You never know whose day or health you might improve. These tips are shared for general awareness. If you're facing any health challenges, be sure to check with your doctor before trying anything new. And as you go about the rest of your day, I hope you carry with you the comfort of knowing you have the power to protect your health in small, meaningful ways. Take good care, and may each day bring you peace, strength, and a little more joy.